70% of Maryland's offense came via the pass last season. Will that be enough to win 70% of their games this season? Let's take a look at the Maryland Terrapins. Coming into 2022, I believe everybody thinks CJ Stroud equals best quarterback in the Big Ten. But then the argument is, who's number 2? I believe right in the thick of the discussion is Maryland quarterback Talia Tangavailoa. He's already in Maryland rarefied air, setting single season records a year ago, and he might be the best quarterback in Maryland history already, and this season might be his best yet. Aside from the Iowa, Michigan, and Minnesota games a year ago, he threw for 265 or more yards in every single game. And 5 times last year, he passed for over 300 yards in a game. No matter which way you slice it, you can throw out any number and any cool stat in the book. The bottom line is the same. Talia Tangavailoa is one of the conference's best passers. You take a guy as talented as Talia Tangavailoa, and then you throw in possibly the most talented wide receiving core in the Big Ten, and you've got a recipe for a smorgasbord of yards and points. Let's start with Dante Dimas. He only played in 4.5 games last season, getting hurt in that Iowa game, but boy did he make an impact in that first quarter of the season. 3 100-yard games, 507 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was Taulia's number 1 threat before he got hurt. Now that he's back, Mike Loxley said he's looking like full go. When week 1 rolls around, he's probably going to be the number 1 target for Talia Tangavailoa. When Dante went down, somebody had to step up, and that was Rakim Jarrett. 829 yards and 5 touchdowns in Dante's absence. This is a guy that made some big plays late in the year. With those 2 guys, you quite possibly got one of the best 1-2 punches in the Big Ten. And that's good, right? Oh, we're just getting started, baby. Now, let's grab a leading receiver from an SEC team. Jacob Copeland, come on down. 642 yards, 4 touchdowns with the Florida Gators last season. And another thing about Jacob Copeland, a lot of people like him because he was the MVP of the Maryland spring game. Not to mention Jashawn Jones and Marcus Fleming are in there as well. You line up those 5 guys across the formation, what do you do as a defense? I'm not sure I'm quite ready to label them as the best receiving core in the Big Ten. Ohio State, they've got some studs over there. But I think I'm ready to call them the deepest receiving core in the Big Ten. You look at 1 through 5 and just the sheer talent that those guys have. Oh, and then you throw in one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. Maryland is going to be extremely difficult to slow down in the passing game this season. When you got a passing game like that, the running game is a lot to be desired. Tayon Fleet Davis moves on, and the big question for the Terps in terms of the running game is who's going to fill in. Colby McDonald looks like the early candidate to be that guy. 325 yards, 2 touchdowns in 2021. He doesn't jump off the page, but there is a true freshman coming in that does. Take a look at Ramon Brown. He was the 10th ranked running back in the 2022 high school senior class, and I think they're going to try to get him on the field. I'm not sure how they're going to get him on the field, but I think they're going to try their damnedest to get him on the field because he's that talented with the football in his hands. Who knows, by the middle of the end of the season, he could be the leading back. But they might want to do slot receiver type of stuff, jet sweep type of stuff. Just get him involved somehow and let him go out and make some plays for you. I'm going to throw out some numbers for you as it pertains to the Maryland defense in 2021. Terps fans, shut your eyes. 13th in the Big Ten in scoring defense, gave up 30 points per game. 13th in passing defense, 12th in total defense in the Big Ten. The 2 building blocks out of your, well, to be honest, not very good defense from a year ago are gone, which makes things even more difficult for the Terps defense. Sam Okuanu, now playing for the NFL's Tennessee Titans. 4 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss. He was really the only thing of the defensive line. Back in the secondary, Nick Cross is a huge loss as well. 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, 44 solo tackles back there. It's probably not a great thing when a guy like Nick Cross is that high in tackles, that deep in your defensive plan. But that's what happened, and those 2 guys are going to be key losses for the Terps. So how do you replace them? I think Maryland's going to be okay in the secondary. I think they got 2 pretty good corners. Jacorian Bennett at corner, 12 pass breakups. That was second in the Big Ten. He also had 3 interceptions. And then although Deonte Banks went out with an injury earlier in the season last year, he's expected to be that other corner to start. I think those 2 corners are going to be pretty good. But other than that, their front 7, it's lacking. If Maryland is going to win a good amount of games this season, it's because they're winning 42-35, right? This is a defense that's not going to slow down a lot of teams. You look at other teams from the Big Ten, and probably some of their best days on the conference schedule is going to come against this Maryland defense. I believe Maryland's going to pull one. I don't know who they're going to beat, but when people come into College Park, I think there's going to be an upset somewhere. But I just got this feeling they're too talented on offense, it seems to go 6-6 again. I want to hear what you guys have to think about Maryland football. Do you think their offense is going to be as good as I and other people are saying? Or is it too much hype? Is it that preseason hype, magazine season? And what about their defense? Is that going to be a big-time Achilles heel, or do you see a couple of surprises on the defensive side of the ball? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for all sorts of Big Ten content. I'm Big Ten Ted, and we'll see you in the next one.